All right, Cowboy Nation. I know you guys heard the news, and the news is that Carson Wentz is now traded, allegedly. You know, it's not official, but the information is already out there. For all of the Eagles fans that's out there, hey, I got to say this for you all. I think that you guys lost out on this deal. I think that, to me personally, it's a panic move. It wasn't a best move for you all. It's just 1 year of pandemic year, a bad situation, and you just ran off from your quarterback. Now, unless Jalen Hurts is light years ahead of Carson, that will be an issue that you guys going to have to figure out. But let's get into the details of everything. According to Adam Schefter, Philadelphia has agreed to trade Carson Wentz to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for the 2021 third-round pick and a conditional 2022 second-round pick that could turn into a first. And then the laughter will continue for all of this stuff that will go around, and they will pull out all of these things as it relates to that. Pro Football Focus have 2016 Carson's rankings, and it was 21st in the league, and in 2017 5th, and then every year beyond that, it looks like it was a droppage. Now let's look into the meat and potatoes of everything. When we see this with Carson, it shows here that they got some of the language already. They got some of the language. They got the profiling of his base salary. But before then, he had a 4-year contract of $128 million, a lot of cash, a lot of money, a lot of remunerations, which include a $16 million signing bonus, $107 million guaranteed. That guaranteed money, you cannot erase it. That is always money that's going to go into his pocket regardless, right? Now, with that being said, in 2021, Carson is 29 years of age. His base salary will be $15.4, but with a $10 million roster bonus that puts you right at the cap hit of $25 million, and that is what he would get paid out. And here's the situation. When we look at everything, of course, we can pull up the stats or what have you. I know a lot of people love the stats, and I always like to bring that to the table when you look at what Carson was able to do within his 5 years of playing in the National Football League. Of course, 2016, he was one of those guys that a lot of people was looking at it like, hey, you put some pieces around him, maybe he will be able to excel. In 2017, when we look at everything, he had 60 completion percentage, and then he threw for 3,000 yards with an average of 253 yards per game. So when we look at everything, we look at Carson 2019, of course, he threw for 4,000 yards for 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. And that's mirroring almost what he was doing in 2017. So a lot of people at the end of 2019 said, hey, you put some weapons, you put some pieces around Carson, he will be that dynamic guy. He will be the guy that can really be the straw that stirs the drink, basically. So my thing is the Colts, they're loaded. They got a great defense, not good defense, a great defense. The coach, he's used to Carson Wentz. He's going to look at it like, hey, remember when we was doing this when you was in Eagles land? It's a good situation for the Colts. The situation for the Eagles, all I can say is, when we look at everything and we will say, all right, there is a situation where these teams must figure out a way to get below the cap. And even though I believe the Eagles will still hit that $33 million cap hit against this because of the fact that it's a trade and you can only trade for the future year's cap relief, not the present or not the past or what have you. So my thing is, it's going to be still a situation where the Eagles going to have to figure that out. They must be all in on Jalen Hurts. They got to be at this point. Now, the sway in the locker room was that a lot of people were looking at it like Carson was feeling, I guess people were saying that he was privileged in a sense. Privileged in the sense of the people that he was around loved him. And he wasn't ridiculed and chastised and these sorts of things. He didn't do no wrong. They see no fault in him. Whereas the other people were looking at it like, nah, man, come on, man. Why is he's able to get away with this and we're not? Now, y'all can check out the Eagles community pages and y'all will see what they have to say. But right now, this is not official, but it's one of those things where we going to have to take a look at and say to ourselves, all right, Carson is we can no longer make fun of Carson Wentz. Cowboy Nation, and for those Eagle fans that's out there, they're not getting 2 first-round picks for Carson. They thought that they were, but they're not. So it's so many rooms for it's so many things to take a real good look at. And my thing is, shout out to the Colts. Shout out to the Colts. Coach over there, he's gonna look at this thing and say, okay, how can we minimize Carson Wentz, put the ball in the belly of the running back? They got a sound defense, and they're hungry. And can Carson propel that team over there in Colts land? To be honest, I'm quite sure he can. It's not like they're getting a trash quarterback. Now, let's be real with it. I just think that the organization, hear me out. Collectively speaking, with the Eagles, they don't know where they come in or going, basically. And my organization, the Dallas Cowboys, we don't have a lot of longitude and latitude to speak on. We don't. And so I can't be sitting here saying, yeah, because the last time I laughed and scoffed at the Eagles and made all type of stuff about the Eagles. They sit there and won the Super Bowl, and I'm not going to do it this time. But I can say this right here just to keep it 100 with everybody. Shout out to the Colts. Shout out to the Colts. I think that they going to have a system in place to put Carson Wentz in a better situation, and we will see more of that out of that organization with Carson Wentz over there. And, of course, the media, it's not going to be on every single, teams in the NFC East, they stay in the media because of there's one other team called the Dallas Cowboys. One other team called the Dallas Cowboys that they got to do that contrast. They got to do that, hey, can the Cowboys do this? Will the Cowboys do that? And it's always versus the Washington team, versus the Eagles team, versus the Giants, what have you. So that angle of Carson Wentz going to the Colts, he's going to fly under the radar, which is always cool. He's going to work on his mechanics. He's going to work on this. He's going to work on that. And they're going to be happy with it. They're going to be happy with his results because the biggest of the biggest spotlights will no longer be there. Let's be real with it. But it's always on the Cowboys, and it's always a piece of it will always be on the Eagles and the Washington team and the Giants because the Cowboys play those teams. And the pundits and all of the four-letter networks love to put those teams against the Cowboys, if I can make any sense with that. So shout out to the Colts, but the Eagles cry to the land of no victory. So it is what it is at this point. Now we got to figure this thing out with Jalen Hurts. Seeing what he's going to do. Is he going to progress from year to year? That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.